What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And Dave, as you said before we went live, it's Friday here on MVP Sports Live, and that means one thing, Dave. Happy Football Friday. Happy Football Friday. I'm talking, you guys know the deal, fantasy football, week 2 previews. However, we do have some basketball to talk about as well, because unlike last Friday, where I believe there was no game beforehand, we now had a game beforehand. So before we get into everything, though, let me go through the housekeeping really quick. Number 1, Discord. Join it. Great community down below in the description, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. Get you that link to get invited to the Discord channel. Also, if you want to support us, patreon.com/most valuable, or that's the old one. I haven't done that in a while. Most Valuable Podcast was it. It's now patreon.com/MVPvids is the new URL. Bronze, silver, gold, and platinum members. You can support us any way you want to. And thank you to our Patreon supporters and Patreon sponsors, I should say, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. You can also support us by throwing us a sub on Twitch. I mean, Prime Gaming. Amazon gives you one for being a Prime member. Why not throw yours to us? No cost to you, and you get the same perks as a bronze tier. Sounds like a win-win for me. But then also, we're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We are also on YouTube at MVP Sports. And the last thing, Dave, is Patreon. The supporters at the gold and above tier on Monday will get to see the first draft video for the NBA draft. Is now everything is set up, and I don't have to worry about the draft moving. So early access for that will be all next week. However, in 2 weeks, you'll get to see it on YouTube. So patreon.com/MVPvids if you want to check those out a week before everyone else. But Dave, we're doing things a little bit different. Usually we wait to do this segment, but I thought, you know what? Since Thursday Night Football happened, basketball game happened, both of these games are going to consist of the players for this segment. We're going to start off the show with a segment we love to do each and every day. These are the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys. These are guys that popped off the day before. Guys and girls who popped off the day before that we want to give love to. And this is going to kind of be our segment also to talk Heat Celtics game 2 and then talk a little bit about Thursday Night Football that happened yesterday. But Dave, before we talk Heat Celtics game 2, who is your wet boy for September? Oh, before I do that, Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy. Patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids, silver and above, get a wet boy as well. Dave, now that that's all out of the way, who's your wet boy?
That was like a 4.5 minute rant there, man.
3:10.
Breathing okay?
3:10. So I'm looking at my clock. 3:14, 3:15, 3:16. But Dave, you are the only one to go into the basketball realm for your wet boy.
I will stick to basketball as long as I can, as hard as I can, because I'm a basketball guy through and through.
Who's your wet boy?
My wet boy goes through to Goran Dragic, the professional, the all-star, the guy who was able to pull a carry job on this Heat. It's a team effort. Look, don't get me wrong. I know it's a team effort, but he hit some absolutely insane shots. I want to go Duncan Robinson for his amazing catch and shoot in one motion three-pointer. He was fire from the outside. Absolutely. I wanted to go Jimmy Butler. He was a monster down late in the game.
Jimmy Butler is your father.
Absolutely. Some Froggy Fresh for you out there. Like, pull it back, boys. It's the year. We're going to see Jimmy Butler versus LeBron James in the finals. Let's see what happens. So, no, I mean, it's just that Heat team, never say never. Like, they will not die. Down 18 doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. They're just going to come right back. Like, they are just a different mentality. They get up at a different level. The toughness out there, the defense, and the drive is just, it's insane. The Celtics are a great young team, but they are not in the same league. And every game's been close, but man.
I love the air quotes. Close, Dave. They've been close.
Like, statistically close. They have been, down to the wire games. But at the same time, when you watch that, it's like when the Heat go on a run, it's just like, oh, fuck. Like, they're not on the same level. They really are.
And the thing that I have noticed about the Heat through this entire playoff run, I know in our Discord, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. on my tablet so I can get this right. I think it was Sam that posted this in our NBA chat of basically, yeah, it was Sam. Records through 11 playoff games, if we're looking at like the 4 best, you have 2 undefeated teams. The 0-1 Lakers and the 2017 Warriors were 11-0 through 11 games. And then the 2020 Miami Heat are 10-1 with a certain, I'm just going to say, a certain best team in basketball history, the 96 Bulls. The Bulls that set the record and finished it off, got the ring on Father's Day. So it's like,
it doesn't mean a thing.
So like to me, it's like I saw that and it's like, shit, does this Miami Heat team have the drive to win it all? Because the thing I love most about them, I started off with that and then I went into the other thing is their halftime adjustments. Like they are a team to where it's like I ragged on the Clippers for basically not making any adjustments and expecting a different outcome. Like, I don't know if it's it's probably a combination of Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler mixed with this attitude of this team. But basically it's just they go into halftime and they make the changes necessary to where it's like if they have a bad first half, they come out and they're a completely different team in third quarters in these playoffs.
I agree. They're motivated, they're well coached, and they just have such a high level of drive. Again, love watching Jimmy Butler do Jimmy Butler things. He's probably like the only superstar whose box score doesn't even come close to telling the whole story. Mm-hmm. Like you can't just be like, oh well, Jimmy didn't have 30 points and 10 assists, 10 rebounds, so he's off night for him. But like, no, that's Jimmy Butler is not that guy. Yeah. Jimmy Butler's the guy who gets everybody around him better. He's that guy.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing, too, is you look at this team, the highest draft pick on, like, not even just the starting 5, the highest draft pick on this team, I think, is Tyler Hero, who was a 13th overall pick. Bam was 14th. The rest of them are, like, Goran Dragic was in the second round, but, like, then the other ones, Derek Jones Jr., Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Hanslam, all undrafted. Yeah. Like you have 3 first-round picks.
Iggy was not a starter, but he is a highly drafted player.
Yeah. And on the list I'm looking at, yet again, this is Sam that posted this in our Discord. Yeah. Join it. It's a great time. It's just we
watched the game together. That was we watched that into Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
It was that was
into Thursday Night Football. Yep. It was just insane that I remember I was out getting dinner. I checked my phone while I was in the drive-thru. I saw the halftime score, and I was like, oh, shit, maybe the Celtics pull this one off. And then, I come back, and it's, end of the game. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to join the watch-along for the end of this one. Soapy kind of asked, and I don't know. I think it's giving up too soon as asking the question. He's like, man, if this Celtic team loses, he's like, I don't know where they go from here. It's like, I think that's almost giving up on a Celtic team that, yes, this Celtic core, I'm talking about the J-Tay, Jaylen Brown core, has been close to the finals. This will now be the second year. They're just, so close, but can't get
third year, technically.
Their hand on it. Yeah, technically third year. That they're so close to it. Will we look back? This is a prediction question. 20 years down the line, will we look back at the Celtics team man, if they could have got it together in that, if they would have just beaten LeBron in that Game 7, if they would have just come together in that series against Jimmy and the Heat didn't outplay them, what could this have Celtics team been? Is that what we're going to look back at the Celtics team as? I know there's a lot of years to go with this core to make it almost a impossible to answer, but a fun, what do you think happens?
The answer is no. Because it doesn't fucking matter what players do in their third and fourth year in the league. Because how many guys leading a team win a championship in years 3 and 4? Fucking point. Zero.
Good point.
Zero.
Good point.
So, no, I'm not concerned about this. Right now, this team, has 2 excellent core pieces, 2 fantastic two-way players under contract, long-term. So they got nothing to worry about. They got scumbag Kemba at the 1, who's been underperforming on a gimpy knee the whole playoffs.
I really hate Kemba Walker.
I hate Kemba Walker
I can feel it. I can feel it.
It's justified. That's the bad thing. It's justified. Had Gordon Hayward been healthy, I feel like it's been the story of the last since they signed Gordon Hayward. If Gordon Hayward were healthy, this team would be right on with playoff championship aspirations. Without Gordon Hayward, they're doing a hell of a job, but they clearly need more help. So, you know what? They're gonna have to cry with three more draft picks in the first round this year. They're gonna have to deal with more draft picks in the future. A roster that literally doesn't have enough space to house all of those draft picks.
They may have to trade Romeo. You never know.
They will probably not trade Romeo, considering he seems to be a good two-way player for the future. At least defensively, he's got some good upside. I think that this team next year hopefully lets them play more. I feel like they were over competing to start the season, trying to prove a point, and instead they should be giving heavy minutes to Grant Williams, heavy minutes to Romeo Langford, guys they're picking up this year. Like, they need to get these rookies and younger players in and comfortable with heavy minutes, because when it comes down to it, they might need to count on them when it counts. And you see issues where there's just simple things and they don't have enough time, they don't have enough experience in them to get through those circumstances. So, no, the Celtics team was going to be great for a long time. They're extremely strapped for resources. Like, they've got everything going for them. No issues there if they do not make it out of this Eastern Conference final. I expect them to take a game, maybe two.
You bring up the rookies, though, and you know what I think of? Yeah. It's almost like, of course, with parents, you're going to love your kid through and through, but it's almost like you're watching your kid playing. Like, fans are watching the Celtics play, go, man. And then they look at the rookies on the Heat and they go, why can't our rookies play like those? Why can't our young players play like those young players?
Well, I mean, I think, to be fair, Brad Wanamaker is like 28 in his second year in the NBA, or 29 in his second year in the NBA. So, like, he's a guy who took longer on the Celtics. But you look over at the Heat, and let's see, Kendrick Nunn is like Kendrick Nunn was like 23 as a rookie. I think he's older than Brandon Clark. Like, I think he's old. I think Duncan Robinson is old. Duncan Robinson's like 26, isn't he?
Duncan? I'll look it up.
Yeah, I swear to God, he was.
I know he did not come out as a freshman. He had a couple. He was a
super senior, I want to say. I think he's like 25.
He is 26. You're right.
26. See?
Yeah, he's 26.
I told you, like, what a rookie! Like, it's just called good scouting. When it comes down to it, like, you develop talent in your G League, you bring them through when you need them. That's all it is. Like, it's not a secret science. Maybe some teams may just put more effort into it and they've got a better eye for talent. But again, when you've got that going for you, I will agree that Tyler Hero was an absolute snipe at 13 or 14, wherever 13. You want. 13, like, that is, whoo. And we talked about him.
And he was.
We talked about him.
And he was one that many people in the draft world was like, do the Celtics trade up for Tyler Hero?
They wanted Tyler Hero. That was the rumor, was they wanted Hero, and he got sniped. And I was like, Tyler Hero, top 7 talent.
Yep.
Tyler Hero, top 4 talent now, apparently. Shit. Yeah. He is doing awesome things.
Last thing I'll ask you because the other two wet boys are NFLs.
Not basketball related, yeah.
I will ask you because this is the last time we'll talk basketball for today.
Yep.
Chances the Nuggets upset the Lakers tonight. I'm going clean 90% chance because the Lakers usually lose game 1.
Yeah, I'm again, this is scary. I'm going to agree with you, which means we're probably wrong. So bet Lakers heavy. If you still want to put in that bet.
Lakers are 7-point favorites tonight.
Yeah. So bet Lakers heavy because Ricky and I are both agreeing that the Nuggets are going to win game 1.
I mean, coming off that last series, the Lakers in back-to-back series have lost game 1 to the Trailblazers, lost game 1 to the Rockets, before then sweeping them.
They take some time to acclimate, and then they figure out, okay, here's our rotation, here's our roster, here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Once they have it settled, it seems to work. But in the football world, Dave, we've got 2 wet boys. My wet boy, I'm just going to go through both of them, then we'll talk about the Thursday night game.
Sure.
My wet boy is probably he's going to be the rookie of the year. In 2 games, I absolutely love him so far. And that's Joe Burrows. Not Joe Burrow, people. It's the Chicago way of saying it. Joe Burrows.
That. You dropped the S on
Got to drop the S on it. Joe Burrows. 3 touchdowns, no INTs. I know the QBR might be a little low. Yeah, I know the Bengals lost, but like
times though.
Yeah, he threw 61 times in that game. And he almost willed them back into the game. Like, he almost was like, I am taking over this game. And I wanted that comeback. I wanted the comeback of, like, he drives them down, ties the game. They go into overtime and they win
He's had, like, winnable games. And that's the thing. Like, that's what you want out of your young quarterback. The problem is that he's running for his fucking life half the game. Yeah,
the offensive line is god-awful. But the one thing I will say from the Bengals is that it is clear you have your guy. Because Adam Schefter tweeted this out today. This is a quote from the rookie quarterback, Dave. Just losing. Losing isn't very fun. This may be the first time in my sporting career that I've lost 2 games in a row. Losing is unacceptable. That's the kind of guy you get. The last part. Losing is unacceptable.
How many games did he lose in college? 1?
I think they lost 1 last year.
Yeah, so they did.
I think they lost 1. I don't know about. I would have to look back at his time at Ohio State because he played a little bit at Ohio State the year before.
Didn't play.
I thought he did play the year before.
He never got the start.
Are you looking at it right now?
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm just going off of my memory of like interviews and pre-draft.
Joe Burrow. Let's see. I'm gonna see.
You check it out, man. I mean, I'll talk about Joe Burrows. He was doing a little bit of everything for that team. Apparently, they have some aversion to their run game. They paid Joe Mixon money, but they don't want to use him. Gio Bernard rocking a wicked mustache, but still no love there. So it's just weird that like this game. I know you're playing from behind, so you got to throw. But
rocking a wicked mustache just throws it in there.
It's the most weird thing about Gio Bernard. When I saw his picture on Thursday Night Football, I was like, the fuck? It looks fake and like superimposed, but I mean it's a wicked mustache. So yeah, no, it's just Joe Burrow. They're basically saying he's our best player. We're gonna put the ball in his hands the most and try to have him carry the games. I don't necessarily I don't disagree with it, but I also don't agree with the play calling. He can slip some sacks, Tim, but like when it comes down to it, they need to pay about $1 billion for an offensive line next year.
Yeah.
Like 3 first-round draft picks need to be offensive line, blue chip studs. And then they're going to go get the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Like, that's the commitment I need from that Bengals team.
So you were right.
He lost out the starting job to...
he redshirted his first year, then played 5 games his freshman year, 5 games his sophomore year. But it doesn't say if he started or not. I'm going to assume he didn't. But then he did start the 2 years at LSU. His first year at LSU, they lost 3 games, but he never lost 2 in a row. They lost to Florida at Florida, Alabama at home, and then Texas A&M on the road. And then last year won the national championship. They did not lose a game at all. So he's right. Okay. Hadn't lost 2 games in a row. So this is new territory for your young signal caller. But like, this is what
it's
you want.
It's hard not to like him. I would say he is such a likable kid.
You want the guy to say losing is unacceptable. Like, we're not going to build that culture here. That is not going to be it. Dave, the other side, the patrons, they went on side of the winning team. Nick Chubb. 2 tutties on the ground, 124 yards, 22 carries. I know Kareem Hunt, who's on your fantasy team, had a pretty good day as well.
Nick Chubb 5 carries from like the 1 yard line to get into the end zone. So I'm not going to slander him too much here for a good performance. He's a wet boy. But I would say that was a disappointing series of events that eventually got him into the end.
But Baker proved me wrong. Like, and by
proved everybody wrong.
By proved me wrong.
They were writing him off. You were like,
he's losing the job.
This man's not going to have a job by week 3. He's going to be written off the books. He's going to be traded. He's going to be cut.
Yep. I went hardcore on it.
Straight up. Want to use a word there. All this stupid stuff coming out of your mouth, and it's just like, in what world do you live in? Baker Mayfield's still a good quarterback. He just played the best defense in fucking football. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's gonna.
He did
playing against the Ravens might make you look bad.
He made one. He made one mistake, but it's like, okay, that's one mistake. He threw one bad pass that got picked off.
He was slinging it though. And
Yeah.
like, here's the thing: they don't need him to be Peyton Manning. They don't need him to be a guy who's gonna Patrick Mahomes. He has his style, and they have a great run game.
Yeah.
They have a balanced attack. They have great weapons. They just need to continue playing smart, and they will continue to win games. Like, that's the thing. He's not a guy who needs to throw it 61 fucking times like Joe Burrow, because he has talent around him. He doesn't need to make everything happen himself. So I'm confident in Baker Mayfield going forward. I just wish that, we would see a level of consistency out of this team. And hopefully next week we'll see a continuation of this good play.
Yeah, and we'll be able to preview their next game next week. They play the Washington football team in Cleveland next week. Washington plays today. But Dave, let's move into everything we've got for the show proper. Talking fantasy football to start, and then we're talking basically every single game for this Sunday in football. And Dave, the big news to come out today that is going to send fantasy owners into a little bit of a scramble is the
49ers news?
It is 49ers news, Dave.
Oh,
As I was going to say,
your boy. I actually read
your boy, who I don't know he's on your team right now this year, but I know he was on your team last year when he broke out. I didn't draft
him because of this.
Okay. He is ruled out. So George Kittle not playing this week. So Dave, the basic question is, if you're a fantasy owner that has George Kittle, who should you be looking at to replace him this week?
I'm the tight end whisperer, y'all. I don't know if you know this, but an update on our fantasy league. I think I carry about 3 tight ends on each team. I have
3 also right now.
I have a problem where I really like tight ends, and I feel like each one of them is really good. So, if no one snagged Dallas Goedert, expect Dallas Goedert to be snagged pretty quickly. He had a phenomenal performance week 1. Might have been a waiver wire pickup instantly, but if nobody has grabbed him yet, expect good things, because I think Zach Ertz is going to continue getting shadowed and shut down, and Dallas Goedert seems to be the guy on that Philadelphia Eagles offense who can just make things happen. Better plan, though, Jonnu on the Tennessee Titans. Big, athletic, strong, fast, great hands, has a connection with Ryan Tannehill. End of last year, I think for the last 5 weeks, he looked really good. Beginning of this year, already good targets, good catch, good end zone. Like, Jonnu is the guy I would 100% target if I were you guys.
Jesus, and I'm
only owned in like 20. I think he was only owned in like 23% of teams.
Really?
On ESPN.
Because I'm trying. Oh, there he is. Yeah, so he's on NFL because I had to switch over to NFL for my app because the ESPN one wouldn't work.
Jonnu Smith.
He has
ESPN
43.
is rostered. Okay,
45 NFL leagues.
Okay, he's 29 on ESPN. So Jonnu Smith, he is a absolute magnet for that football, especially red zone, because he's so big, so strong, so fast.
Yeah,
I would absolutely look to go with him because I think he is a healthy player, and he's against Jacksonville. Fucking Jacksonville. Yeah. Now, don't know if you bought into the Jacksonville team on week 1, beating the Colts, where Philip Rivers literally threw them out of the game. I don't think that's going to be a Tannehill issue week 2 with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, for me, I was looking. This is great because I was looking 2 other places. So we're given kind of different names to go around.
Yeah. Well, who do you think?
My guys, though, the first one I traded for this week because I had Austin Hooper in the MVP league. And I didn't like what Hoop brought me week 1. And I was like, you know what? I don't think Hoop is going to be.
He only got a couple touches.
I don't think he's going to be exactly what he was in Atlanta, being in a different system than the Atlanta Falcons. So I traded Hoop. I went for a guy who he's owned in 72.2% of NFL leagues. So he might be able to be available in yours. People are picking him up at about an 11% change. So he is getting picked up in more leagues. Fucking trade for him if he ain't start. Like, the reason I traded for him was JD in our league wasn't starting him, and I'm like, sure, I'll fucking give you what you need in a running back in order to get him. TJ Hawkinson had a good week against the Bears. Had 5 targets, caught all of them for 56 yards and a receiving touchdown. And the receiving touchdown was his only red zone target. Yes, he's going up against the Packers, who right now rank 11th of toughness against tight ends. But here's the thing you got to think about. The Vikings don't really have tight ends that they throw to. Like, Kirk Cousins does not, like, he just forgets that fucking Kyle Rudolph exists half the time.
I think you're looking at that stat wrong.
What? I'm looking right here. It's 5. He had 5 targets, 5 receptions, 56 yards, a touchdown, and then it says 1 red zone target.
I thought you were saying, like, start him against them because the Minnesota Vikings don't guard tight ends. Not they don't throw to their own tight ends.
No, he's playing the Packers, and the Packers played the Vikings.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So he's playing the Packers. It's just that the Vikings, like, Kirk Cousins doesn't target Kyle Rudolph as often as he targets the wide receiver. So, like, that's not something to where it's like the Packers aren't shutting down Kyle Rudolph. Kirk Cousins forgets that he's not there. So that's why I think that 11 is a little shady. The other one is Mike Gesicki.
Quick note.
Go ahead.
Quick note. Detroit, Kenny Galladay, out again this week. So they will lean on Hawkinson 100%. I think that he and Marvin Jones Jr., who is available in a fuck ton of leagues right now. Like, he is arguably the guy. He had 8 targets last week, only 4 receptions, but he is the pass catcher out there with Hawkinson. So if you are looking for an opportunity, I would absolutely go for either Marvin Jones or TJ Hawkinson if you need a tight end. Both those guys may or may not be available in your leagues, but I think both are worthy of a thought.
Here's a guy who is, Dave. I picked him up last night because I was like, no way is this guy available. And he's available in about, if I'm doing my math right, about 85% of NFL leagues have him on the board ready to get picked up. OJ Howard. Like, after week 1, I am convinced, although he is the 3rd tight end on my team now, as I now have Hawkinson, OJ Howard, and I think I have someone. No, I only have 2. They're the only 2, OJ and Hawkinson. Because Mark was making fun of me of, like, why are you hanging on to 2 tight ends?
And now you got 3.
Yeah, he's going up against Carolina. He already looks against the Saints, and I know Mike Evans didn't play, like, he played, but he only got targeted like 1 or 2 times last week.
Yeah.
Like, OJ Howard to me looks like he's got the rapport with Tom Brady to where it's like what Gronk was to that Patriots offense. It looks like Tom is just going to lean heavily on OJ Howard and lean on that tight end position until Gronk is Gronk, but Gronk ain't going to be Gronk week 2.
That's the thing. Like, Gronk week 1 looked like he wasn't quite in game shape. They used him in heavy blocking plays. He was still strong. He was still mobile enough to get up the field, and just he didn't have any separation. Did not look clean out there. So I expect Gronk, like you said, later weeks probably build that game stamina and be able to get open a little bit easier. But OJ Howard could be an interesting one. That Tampa Bay team, I expect them to bounce back heavy. I mean, the Saints defense just played impeccable defense out there. You got to give them the credit. So I like the idea. I think that OJ Howard is a great idea.
And like Darren Waller, who went up, so Tampa Bay
for a lot of people.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is playing Carolina, who Waller went up last week against them. He had 8 targets, 6 receptions for 45 yards. So in our league PPR, he had about 10.5 points. So I would expect at least that from OJ Howard. The only thing that is going to be kind of the swing piece is with OJ Howard, is he going to get that touchdown like he got against the Saints? Are there any more tight ends, Dave, that you want to get out there before we move over a little bit into more pass catchers, talking wide receivers?
Let's see. No, Noah Fant is my boy. I own him. 94% ownership. Greg Olsen, a guy a lot of people forgot about. That Seahawks offense looks like monsters out there. Like, it's not fair what they're able to do to other teams. So week 2 in New England, I don't think New England's got great coverage. So I still like, I honestly say, like, if the 4 guys we've mentioned up front aren't available, then Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Like, he is much further down my wire than the 4 guys we started with today. But he's not a bad, like, I'm playing in a deeper league where multiple tight ends are rostered. If he's available, then I'd go for it.
Yeah, and this next one kind of plays into the last guy we talked about with tight ends and why maybe O.J. Howard might be the play this week if you have Kittle, is Chris Godwin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dave. He's doubtful. He's in the concussion protocol. Mike Evans was a full participant in practice. He has been upgraded to he's going to play. No question about it. But Godwin, concussion, he is still doubtful for the game. There's a chance he might play, but I'm expecting him either not to play, or if he does, it's going to be the same thing that happened to Mevins, where he's more out there to be a decoy if he passes the concussion protocol.
It's never good.
So really, it's kind of the same thing of like, if you have Godwin, what are some wide receivers you're going to look at? And I actually have one that I'm going to ask you about straight away up the front, is Anthony Miller from the Bears. He's a guy that in week 1, 6 targets, 4 catches, had 76 yards and a receiving touchdown, but only had 1 red zone target. Going up against the Giants, who did let the Steelers and Big Ben rack up some yards against them, score some points against them. Would Anthony Miller, who's owned in about half of leagues for NFL, should he be a must start if you have Godwin and are able to pick him up?
Must start's a strong word, man.
Because of a certain Mitch Trubisky?
Well, that's the problem. I refuse to touch the Chicago Bears offense when it comes to fantasy football. Allen Robinson is a little engine that could out there. Like, he has been the consistent guy. Now, he's obviously had the contractual negotiations going on loudly in the media's face. So the question is, everybody on the team seems supportive of him. So you would think like, okay, his teammates want to see him do good, but will the play calling support that? Will Mitch be able to get him the ball? Or Mitch down to the end of that game really connected with Anthony Miller on a couple key plays? I feel like Anthony Miller is a big risk, though. There are other guys who I would aim at.
Like who?
Much. Well, obviously, we talked about the fact that there is sorry, I'm blanking on his fucking name. The Detroit Lions. We mentioned them earlier in the show, and we talked about Marvin Williams, even Danny Amendola. If you're playing PPR, like, that man's gonna get like 7 catches for like 70 yards, maybe.
Yeah,
that's not a bad day. It's just the touchdown is hit or miss on him. But there are guys who, Stephon Diggs, we were concerned about what his job out there would do to John Brown. John Brown looks like he is benefiting from the Stephon Diggs effect. He is consistently getting open. He is getting better looks. Safeties are sliding over to the Diggs side of that route. And you have to think that John Brown, a guy who is rostered in not many leagues, actually. I think his number was pretty low. Great opportunity to grab him as a number 2 wide receiver this week. Somebody who is interesting is Emmanuel Sanders, because Michael Thomas right now is doubtful. So I think if you have Michael Thomas hurt, maybe you look at getting yourself an Emmanuel Sanders this week.
Yeah, I've got 2 names. They're both risks only because they're from the same team, and it's just a who's going to.
It's the Packers.
It's the Packers. It's Lazard and Vandell Scantling, or Vandell's Scantling. Valdez Scantling. Thank you. Both of those guys.
You just call them the initials, because that honestly is what I hear most often from everyone.
MVS, isn't his first name like Marquise?
MVS
and then AL.
Yep. No, just MVS.
Lazard. Lazard was one out of Iowa State that I was high on coming out. Sure. And it was nice to see him get involved against the Vikings. Not for me, because I'm a Vikings fan. But it was nice to see him get one out. It was nice to see also Vandell or MVS also get involved. It's just, these guys are owned in about 16 and 14% of NFL leagues. Here's the question, though, Dave. Like, are they both going to get the 18 to 16 points that they got? Because they each got their own.
Dude, here's the thing. Detroit has the 3 top secondary players out with injuries. Yes, you can start 1 through 3 on the Green Bay Packers and know that you're going to get points this week. I think it is one of the safest bets that no one is talking about. Green Bay, if you're a betting guy, bet the over, bet Green Bay, heavy. Like, all three of these wide receivers, if you're in fantasy, are absolute starts. I have no concerns going into this week. Detroit's defense is already in shambles. So feel confident with any one of those three guys. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yep.
Because I was thinking it all day when I was looking at it, and I was like, man, this team is not even... It ain't even fair what they're about to do to Detroit.
I also got another one, too. And yet again, he's available in leagues. Only owned in 11% of leagues. Just a little Ohio State wide receiver I was high on. Little Paris Campbell for the Indianapolis Colts. Like, he is a guy that had 14 points against Jacksonville.
Yep.
Indy going up against Minnesota. Minnesota gave points. And here's the thing that'll be interesting about Minnesota is... Was last week about Aaron Rodgers being so good, or our defense not being as good as it used to, and can Phillip Rivers find
Aaron
holes?
Rodgers being terrifying.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the MVP this year.
He's the boogeyman of the NFL. Well, I understand that number one quarterback in the league is clearly not him, but like he is definitely. I don't know, like any given day, he could be the best quarterback. It feels like Patrick Mahomes got the money, got the payday, got the ring. Yeah. He did everything he needed to. But Aaron fucking Rodgers puts a different kind of fear in me. And like right now, he's playing from ahead. That's what's scary. Is Aaron Rodgers from behind is the scariest thing you will ever see in your life. Aaron Rodgers from ahead this year seems to be a different kind of beast. So I'm down with that. But I don't know that I trust that. I don't know that I trust him going into the Vikings. I think the Vikings defense is going to have a bounce back week, and maybe I'm just cooling too quickly on the Colts. Paris Campbell, he got a lot of targets. T.Y. Hilton drew some attention. Their run game is a fucking question mark. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. But like, I like him as a wide receiver. I just don't know that this is the week I target him. I think there are safer bets out there, like Sammy Watkins, who is available, and I think 34% of leagues out there, 33% of leagues out there. Sammy Watkins, absolutely grab him. I don't care how bad he looked week one. He still had 82 yards and a touchdown and 9 yards rushing. Like, 3 yards, whatever. 3 yards rushing. Yeah. They put him in. I don't know why that was a fucking thing, but 9 targets, 7 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely go for Sammy Watkins, available in 34% of leagues. Huge pickup for a lot of people. Wild card guy I like this week, Deontay Johnson. Okay. I mentioned him week one. We'll mention him again week two because he still has no respect. Still no respect out there. 81% rostered, but I still think that he's a guy who is quickly becoming a star slot receiver in the NFL. Like he seems, I say slot receiver now. I can't remember if he ran slot. I feel like he was. I'm a fucking roll thick. Comment section, correct me if I'm wrong. He was a really good route runner. He's got good hands. He seems like Ben trusts him. He trusts Ben. The only thing that hurt him really was the fumble. I expect better from him, and I think the Steelers expect better from him. And I think the Steelers-Denver game is going to be lit. I think that's two good teams, and we're going to see great performances, shaking off some rust. So I like that matchup a lot too.
So, Dave, before we go into the last one, we actually got a fantasy question from chat. That I'm going to throw out here. GVSDC throws out this, Dave. Yeah. He's got a flex spot open.
Ooh, okay.
Who's he playing? David Montgomery against the Giants or Emmanuel Sanders against the Raiders?
Oh, man. That is a tough one.
Emmanuel Sanders had like 10.5 points last week. David Montgomery had about, 8.5 against the Lions last week.
So here's the thing you got to consider. Emmanuel Sanders barely got targets. He got saved with the one final touch. Yeah. Obviously, because I think he was only targeted like 3 times. It was really, I mean, I don't question Sean Payton's offensive game planning, but like
it's a half PPR league, by the way, so half a point for PPR reception.
That's tough. I like the idea of going with. Oh man, I'm just gonna go back on my word here and say. Damn, that's tough. Because, David Montgomery. Let me talk about the positives here.
Yes.
He was supposed to be banked up week one. He looked good. He got some touches. They obviously still split carries with Tariq Cohen. But that Giants defense is got some issues. The Steelers ran all over them. Duke, right? Duke.
Benny
No, what's
Snell,
it?
you're talking about Benny Snell Jr.?
Benny Snell
He had
Jr. ran all over.
113 yards, no tutties last week.
Yeah. And that's as a backup running back coming in for an injured Connor. So I expect David Montgomery to have a really good game, but wide receiver number 1 for the Saints, I wonder if they're going to lean a little more on Kamara in the passing game, and Emmanuel Sanders still won't get the majority of touches. That's my concern. I feel like the Bears. Oh, I don't like betting with Bears players though.
Well, here's
the thing. You go, Ricky.
Here's the tough decision you got to think about. It is so you look at it this way: Raiders and Saints is how much is Alvin Kamara going to be instituted into the offense? Because like you look at what the Panthers did last week, Christian McCaffrey run DMC. Or run CMC, I should say.
Yeah, come on.
He had 2 touchdowns last week on the ground. And also he had 38. He had only 3 receptions through the air, was targeted 4 times. You look at the receiving core, though. Robbie Anderson had a good day. 114 yards, 1 touchdown. DJ Moore only had 54 on 4 catches. So, like, for me, it's like, is this one of the games where the Saints are basically going to be Alvin and Michael Thomas, and this Drew Brees is going to go to them all day because they're going to be open?
Michael Thomas is doubtful.
Because, true, he is doubtful. So that means Emmanuel Sanders steps up a little bit. But, like, there's also the side of it to where I would almost go against the
star wideout likely out several weeks.
Okay.
That's why I brought up Sanders earlier. I thought he was a good play, but the play is now
right. That does change things.
It's, I trust Drew Brees' offense more than I trust the Chicago Bears.
Is Drew Brees just gonna, because like against Tampa Bay, is he just then gonna, like, is Jared Cook just gonna be a safety blanket then? Because like Jared Cook had he had 7 targets, 5 receptions for 80 yards. Like,
he really was.
Without and Michael Thomas only had 3 catches, so it's not like he did anything. They leaned on Cook and Kamara mainly. I would almost go David Montgomery.
Okay.
With a question, like if I had to pick between those two, I would go between them, only because like I would almost say, here's the thing with the Giants is the reason I think Benny Snell Jr. didn't get to the end zone is because Big Ben was lighting it up. Do you expect Mitch Trubisky to be like Big Ben? I don't. I don't expect him to be.
Trubisky?
Fourth quarter, and does fourth quarter Mitch Trubisky show up?
That's what I'm saying. Danny Dimes versus Mitch Trubisky. It's a high profile matchup there.
I'm rolling the dice. I would say Montgomery over Sanders. That's what I would.
Montgomery feels like a safe bet to get you points, but if you want that high upside, Emmanuel Sanders is the guy.
Yeah, like. It's just
that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get all the facts.
The Jared Cook question mark is what it goes into me, because it looks like the Bears are gonna lean on Montgomery in the run game. He's gonna have more chances. I would go Montgomery against the Giants. However, Sanders, if he does get a tutty without Thomas being out there, it could be a like.
Name the next available fucking wide receiver on the Saints.
It'd basically be Cook, Kamara, and Sanders would be your top 3 options. Passing the ball, pass catcher.
Cook's not a wide receiver.
He's a pass catcher though, and
he's not a wide. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't even name the 3rd wide receiver on the Saints.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I say Cook is the question mark, because if Drew Brees goes to him, that's going to take away from Sanders.
Just for the record, Traquan Smith is the 3rd wide receiver on the Saints.
Okay.
I don't remember him very much at all. Behind him is Deontay Harris, Marquez Callaway, Benny Fowler, who I do remember, Taquan Mizell, I do remember, but I think he's practice squatted probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like their receiving core is incredibly top heavy. So Emmanuel Sanders, I just don't trust this. Maybe it's me being a Bears fan. I can't believe in the Bears right now. There are too many unknowns, and the split backfield with Tariq Cohen and Montgomery, there's no rhyme or reason where one gets touches and the other doesn't. So Tough.
And I mean, before we give just our final thoughts, Dave, I know
we want to hit running back, right?
We will. But just to get into chat really quick, Spaznikov does say, who do you see as a sleeper pick for wide receiver flex? I said it already. It's the two receivers from the Packers for me. It's Lazard, it's MVS, only because they're owned in only 10% of leagues, each of them. Go get them if you don't have them and you need a wide receiver or a flex option. Because,
you can't go wrong.
Yeah, they're gonna get points. It's just fuck it. They're both gonna have points because Detroit is gonna give up points to Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the league. But Dave, to answer the question we were gonna go into with the Colts, because of the Marlon Mack injury and because of he kind of didn't have a great game in his first game filling in for Mack halfway through the game against the Jaguars. Is Jonathan Taylor a must-start week 2, or should you be hesitant starting him against the Vikings?
I know like Himes a little bit more than him still. Telling you, he moved the ball better. He was a good change of pace. I liked his running style. I think Jonathan Taylor, effective pass catcher. I don't know about it. I would not start him week 2. And I'm going to be like hilariously wrong maybe here, but I just don't want to put that on somebody. I think Himes looked like he was competent enough to take over the primary role, and I think that Taylor will probably be their backup back. They'll still get touches to him, but I expect Himes to be the primary. Yeah. I know Jonathan Taylor's a sexy name, though. That's the problem.
Well, and I mean, I look at it and I go, we want Jonathan Taylor to be good because he was good at Wisconsin. But like I'm going to say he's not a must start this week. I'm agreeing with you because
Hines is the safer bet, right?
Yes, I would. If I'm picking between the two, I'm taking Hines as more of a start option. That I wouldn't even say Hines is a must start, but I would say he's more of a start option than Jonathan Taylor, just because I feel like with Jonathan Taylor, I want to see how I would go more cautious. I want to see how he does week 2. How does he do? And then it's like, if he does good, all right, you earned the starting job on my fantasy team because
2.4 fucking average yards per carry is brutal.
Yeah.
That's the killer. It's like, and one of those runs made the rest of the average a little bit better, to be honest with you. But he was not getting any traction out there. I think you have to go with Nyheim Hines, and I think that you have to just understand that, like you said, Jonathan Taylor may be the long-term answer, but in the short term, just understand where the points are definitely going to start from. If anything happens with Hines or he hits a wall, then maybe week 3, week 4, we'll see a heavier share out of Jonathan Taylor, but he should still be available. Whoa.
What?
I just checked the percentages on ESPN. Jonathan Taylor's rostered 96% of the team.
He's fucking high on NFL too. He's I think he's, let's see, I saw him. He's 98% of leagues in NFL.
That's crazy. He does not deserve that yet.
A lot of people drafted him because of the hype for him. Hines is 81% of leagues. He jumped 79% from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Malcolm Brown also jumped a lot this week.
Malcolm Brown deserved the jump. He proved he's the guy. That was awesome.
Guys I would look for instead. Let's say you have Jonathan Taylor. Tim says in chat, Jonathan Taylor is the teen idol sensation. He could be coming out of Wisconsin. People were hyped for him, but who I would look for, starting at guys who are kind of not available to the guys that are available. 75% of leagues have Adrian Peterson rostered. If he's available in yours, he's a good option to have.
100% agree.
Gibson from Washington, Antonio Gibson, played well. He's going up against Arizona, who let Oster just fucking roast them last week. Fantasy wise. So he might be able to get you at least 10 to 13 points at the low end. He's owned in 69 percent of leagues. And then really unless James Conner is coming back and you're expecting him to just shot out of a shell, Benny Snell's only owned in 40% of leagues.
I would watch James Conner's info as far as Saturday, Sunday morning. Where's he at health wise? What's the confidence level going in? But I agree. Like Benny Snell could be an absolute steal for a lot of people out there.
Because I'm looking at Connor to see the last news we had. It says Connor ankle practiced full Friday and doesn't have a designation for Sunday's game against the Broncos. NFL Network reports Connor emerged from the Steelers' Week 1 win with an ankle sprain, and while the issue sidelined him at Wednesday's session, he proceeded to limit in full participation Thursday and Friday. So yeah, like you said, I would basically see it says as a result, Benny Snell and Jaden Samuels could be candidates for increased workloads. If you have a spot where you can drop someone, I would go ahead and fucking pick up Benny Snell because he could be someone that pays off. But Dave, last thing we'll do, kind of like your top guy for this week, a guy that you think people should start, and a guy you think that people must sit to wrap things up.
I mean, I'm just being an asshole and be like, if you have Patrick Mahomes, you should start Patrick. It's like, I don't know what you're looking like. You got me more fucking parameters than that. So obviously,
no Aaron Rodgers, you're gonna start. But usually, what Brandon and I would do for this is this is a guy that most people, not really a sleeper, but people might be on the fence about this guy week 2, but you're like, no, man, this guy's a must start. This guy is it for me. For me, I would almost throw out and say, no, I'm not going to say it. I was almost going to say OJ Howard, a must start at tight end, but I wouldn't even say it. But one that I could lean on is for example, Gardner Minshew must start week 2. After his week 1 performance going up against Tennessee. That's an example of what you're saying. I'm just throwing out an example now. Because Gardner Minshew would be the one where it's many people might not take it, but you're you know what? Fuck it. He's going to have a good game. This is who I'm starting.
It's interesting. Very interesting.
Just trying to give you an example.
No, you put me on the spot. I'm horrible on the spot. Fuck you. Don't start anybody on the Saints. Or I'm sorry, not on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Don't play a single Dolphin if you can. Avoid the fucking team entirely.
I hate it because I have Devonta Parker.
Yep, I hate it. Avoid the team. Don't start a single Dolphin player if you can avoid it. Also, don't start anybody on the Chargers. Don't start the Chargers defense. Definitely don't. Don't start anybody on the offense. Even though you want to say Austin Eckler is going to be decent and get some touches, they're going to get blown out. They're gonna suck. Austin Eckler may get some garbage time carries and touches in the passing game, but he might be the only guy safe enough. He's on that extra level because he's also an active pass catcher as well as runner. So I guess Austin Eckler's my guy who I'm if you're on the fence because he's going against the Chiefs, take Austin Eckler, 100% start him, 100% start John Brown. Sure. John Brown's my guy. He's going to fuck with Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the must start for me is I am going to go OJ Howard because I think that he's going to get points. If you've got Kittle, like we talked about earlier, go ahead and start him. However, I say this, and I'm not going to start him in my league because I'm going to start TJ Hawkins. Here's the thing. Unless you've got Ertz, Hawkinson, if you are in if you've got Austin Hooper, and I know Hooper played Thursday, but that's an example I'm going with. If you got a guy like Austin Hooper, yes, start OJ Howard. If you've got Dallas Goedert,
will end up with that.
Who?
What do you think OJ Howard will end up with on this week?
I think he'll end up with about at least 65 yards on a tutty. That's what I'm thinking with this one. I like the matchup for the Buccaneers. Godwin's doubtful. I think even if he plays, he's serving a Mike Evans role. The only caveat that's a little bit of is Mike Evans. He's fully back. So is Mike Evans going to be Mike Evans? But even if he's not, if Godwin is even out there and he's just a decoy, I think Tom Brady leans on his tight ends. That's what we're learning with tight ends. And that's who I would start. Before we move on, STL fans, if you hit us up with a question really quick, we'll answer it before we go on. But yeah, that's going to do it for our fantasy. Remember, Twitter, MVP_vids. Shoot us. Shooting out a tweet every Friday in the AM. We will answer your questions. Also, come back every Friday. We'll answer your questions from Twitch chat as well. So I'm going to stall a little bit here. I'm going to give STL fans a little bit to try to shoot us a question, because I still see he's in. I see you. You're in the lounge. I see you watching, STL fans. So I know you're here. So we'll wait on that question, and then basically, Dave, we're gonna preview through. Actually, fuck it. We'll start the previews, and when he throws us his question, first game we're gonna preview, Dave.
Yep.
We're starting with them only because on our insider for MVP, they're a favorite team of ours. Giants Bears. What do you think with this one?
Bear down. I mean, the Giants look like ass. Danny Dimes out there was, he was struggling a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think that Saquon Barkley got some criticism from, hilariously enough, Tiki Barber out there publicly calling him out for his lack of pass blocking. But what's funny is the fact that, there's a certain running back who got outrushed by a quarterback named Ben Roethlisberger. So that's got to hurt Saquon. I expect him to run hard, run angry out there on Sunday. I've seen him play Sunday. Nailed it. Super confident in that answer.
Dave, I will say this. All of these, except for the very last one on our sheet, are Sundays.
Delightful. Yeah, I got Bears winning this one. I don't think it's going to be close. I think we're going to see good Mitch Trubisky this week, because this is his last opportunity to pop off. And then from here on, we'll see the decline of Mitchell Trubisky. So I expect a very good, balanced game out of this Bears offense. I like what the Giants are doing. I just don't think they're there yet.
And I forgot I was going to start doing that this week. The line for this game is Bears are favored by 5.5.
Good line.
So Bears are 5.5 favorites. With this one, I'm a little confused because, I agree with you. Saquon, I don't think is going to be the same Saquon as next week. I expect him to return to form. But yet again,
he literally had 6 guys in the backfield every play. He didn't really have a chance to get up motion.
Mm-hmm. How many mistakes, though, is Daniel Jones going to make against this Bears defense? That's the thing with this Bears defense, because I have them in one of my 3 leagues.
Didn't plug our nose tackle, man. That's the only reason I'm afraid of Saquon Barkley. We did not plug our nose tackle, and our middle linebacker looks slow as shit out there. I think he got a PFF grade of awful.
Yeah,
I forget the actual
PFF number. Grade of awful. It's just straight
I forget
garbage.
The actual number, but it was so very slow. So I want to say that I would be afraid of Saquon Barkley as a Bears fan. But yeah, Danny Dimes out there. Our corners look pretty good week 1. I would not fucks with that.
Yeah. I think Saquon comes back to form. I think Montgomery has a good game. Kind of like in the route of Benny Snell having a good game. The question mark is the quarterbacks. How does Daniel Jones and Mitch Trubisky play? I'm going to go Bears win by a touchdown here. It's not going to be a blowout
game. Bears and the points.
Yeah, taking the Bears and the points to win this game in Soldier Field. The next game, Dave, that we're looking at, and I got to double check on my sheet. Yes, it is Falcons Cowboys in Dallas. This is one that I will say the line right now on it is Cowboys by 4. Take the Falcons. Take the Falcons to win this game. They're going to win. The Cowboys are hurt on the defensive side. They've got Van Der Esch. They've got Sean Lee that's out. And that's not even all of them. That's just the 2 big ones that are out. This Cowboy defense is hurt. Yes, the offense for the Cowboys has potential. You got Dak. You got Cooper. You got Zeke. You've got everyone out there. But I think this is going to come down to Gurley has a good game. Matt Ryan steps up. The big question is if Julio goes, because right now there's some injury questions with Julio.
No, Julio's going.
Where right now Julio is questionable
he's going
for the game. So I expect him to play. He's on one of my fantasy teams. The injury report is basically what? Charles Harris and Kendall Sheffield are out for the Falcons, and basically Tyron Smith, Amari Cooper, and Anthony Brown are listed as questionable for the Cowboys. I'm going Falcons in this one because of all the injuries the Cowboys have starting to pile on their defensive side. What are you taking this one?
Falcons throw for a fuck ton of yards, but still find a way to lose this game because that is who the Falcons are. That's everything I've learned up to this point in time, and they have not proven me wrong in the last 2 years. You are entirely too high on the Falcons coming into this year. I will continue to shit on the Falcons until they prove me wrong. So I will take the Cowboys in a bounce-back game. Zeke will get plenty of touches. They will control the ball. They will control the time possession out there. I like the Dallas team. I don't care about their injuries. Doesn't fucking matter. They cannot go 0-2. This is a team that cannot allow that. Mike McCarthy can't have it.
God. We were already seeing memes after week 1 of the like Scooby-Doo where it's like it pulls off the Mike McCarthy head. It's like it was Jason Garrett all along. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game because it could go either way. I just think the Falcons bounce back, get a win. The next game, this game, Dave, not even going to be fucking close. Like the line being 6.5 towards the Packers.
It's a joke.
Not even going to be close. Lions are getting blown out in this one. Matt Patricia goes 0-2. Lion fans then start getting the pitchforks and the torches ready if they're not ready already after the loss to the Bears last week. Aaron Rodgers.
Matt Patricia put him in position to win the game. The rookie running back just dropped the goddamn ball.
Aaron Rodgers throws for 5 touchdowns in this one. I'm going big. He throws 5 touchdowns, basically 2 to Adams, 1 to Lazard, 2 to MVS. Those are where his touchdowns
You're incorrect because Aaron Jones will get a touchdown.
Okay. So 1 to MVS, 1 to Lazard, 1 to Aaron Jones, and then basically 2 to Adams.
I'm okay with that. I will tolerate that because I have Aaron Jones as an Aaron Jones fantasy owner. I will tell you that he will get in the end zone. Strong believer in that, man. Being the core to that offense. Not really the core because it's Aaron Rodgers, but the piece that keeps it grinding forward. He's got that forward lean going to his game. So I agree with you. I'm heavy on the Packers here. I would nail the money line on the Packers. It feels like Vegas is trying to give the benefit of the doubt. But again, I mentioned earlier, the Detroit Lions have 3 of their secondary guys out, just flat out. So Aaron Rodgers versus the 4th, 5th, and 6th best guys in your secondary.
Yeah.
Who would feel confident in that matchup? I'm sorry. In what world when the Bears could smoke you at the end of a game? Aaron Rodgers is about to have a fucking field day with you. So I'm 100% double down. Whatever money you got, if you want to put it on one team this week, I mean, it's the Chiefs. But then a second team, you would be
put on the Packers. The next game, Dave. Titans hosting Minshew Mania. Does Minshew Mania carry on week 2 with another win? Do the Jaguars upset twice and go to 2-0?
Can't happen, won't happen. I like the Titans. They look strong in week 1. I already mentioned my boy Jonnu. I think Derrick Henry is the little engine that could. He won't die. He's the Energizer fucking bunny out there. The more carries he gets, the worse the defense looks. Give me Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans.
For this one, I'm going to go so I think the Titans win. No, do I? So here's where I'm questioning this one. So the line is 7.5. I think if I'm betting this one, I take Jaguars and the points. Where I believe if the Titans win, they're going to win by 3. Because yes, I expect Derrick Henry to have the numbers he had last week, maybe with a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill will be what he was last week. But Garner Minshew will be better than what Drew Lock showed. And I know maybe last week it was playing in that, you get week 1 with no preseason and great, you get thrown into Denver with the high altitude. Maybe that played into it a little bit for the Titans, but there's a part of me, I'm going to say Jaguars lose this game, Titans win, but I think the win will be less than 7.5. So if I'm betting on it, I'll take Jaguars and the points for that one. Dave, great job in Twitch chat communicating while we're talking because we are going to interrupt this for a fantasy question we're getting from chat. STL fans, Dave says, should I trade Saquon Barkley, Madison, who plays for the Vikings, I believe, for Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, and Rojo? I have Fournette and Lindsey, and he also has J.K. Dobbins. I almost say no on that. That is my first preliminary, after seeing that, I go, no.
You go, who's the best player in the trade? Saquon Barkley. Then who's the second best player? Austin Eckler. Who's the third best player? Melvin Gordon. Or is it Rojo?
See,
He
but-
has Fournette, so you've got the handcuff on the back end already. So I wouldn't worry about that because the word on the street is Fournette is happy and the front office is happy with Fournette. So I would expect Fournette's role to continue to grow as the season progresses. So I don't necessarily know that you need to trade for the value of Rojo there because I don't know how many more weeks he will go. I love J.K. Dobbins. You have him already. So I don't. Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon are good pieces, but you have the home run hitter in Saquon Barkley. Don't shy away from him because of his week one. He still is the Saquon we know and love. I think Fournette will pick it up. J.K. Dobbins is going to be a star going forward. Yeah, I like what you got. I would hold tight. I think their asking price of Barkley, because Madison's a throwaway in that trade. No offense, but Madison is a throwaway. It's basically Saquon Barkley for Gordon, Eckler, and Rojo. While I do love Austin Eckler and Rojo right now, I think by week 5 you would regret this trade.
Yeah, like Saquon is not going to be what we saw in week 1. Saquon will come back to form. Also, like
I expect him to be good this week because we literally don't have a nose tackle. We refused to sign one after ours just went down with an injury.
Like, and if you're jonesing for a running back and you need one, like there are guys. No, but like if you're looking to like upgrade your running back position, like Robinson's 46.6% of NFL leagues, he should be okay. Like I said, like Frank Gore's an interesting one. I didn't mention him in our fantasy, but he's an interesting watch for running backs. He's the only
guy healthy right now.
Yeah, bingo. He's owned in 13 leagues. He had 10 points last week. Now that he doesn't have to worry about Le'Veon sniping any carries, I know they brought on, I think it's
he was sniping carries from Le'Veon. Le'Veon was the main back.
Yeah, no, I know, but like they're not splitting carries anymore.
Yeah, the way you put it, though,
the way I
like
phrased it,
was the premier back at age fucking 48.
I understand phrasing, but yeah. I wouldn't do that trade. I think if you're jonesing to upgrade at the running back position, there are guys available in free agency for that. But Dave, moving on, we talked about Jacksonville, Tennessee. Both of us think Tennessee wins, but it's going to be a close one. The next one, both teams are winless, going for their first win. ESPN has it almost down the middle with the Colts winning 51%. Colts Vikings in Indy. How does this game play out? Colts are only a 3-point favorite.
This is a tough one. This is a very tough one because I saw a lot of things I liked out of this Colts team week 1 early in the game. Phillip Rivers, not quite 100% back, but is he more Phillip Rivers than we ever thought because of those interceptions?
Yeah.
Question you got to ask yourself, But at the same time, I look at that Vikings team and I go, I know they're better than what we saw. And I know those late points were against the prevent defense, but they were able to get some momentum building. I feel like that momentum will help them out and carry them into week 2. I would lean Vikings this week.
We agree. I'm leaning Vikings, but I'm going to say it's going to be like a close one. I think it's going to be like 27-24 Viking win.
I'm with you. It will be a very close game, but I'm shy with what this Colts team is, especially without their main running back right now. I think that is a pretty big hit as much as people don't want to give him credit. I literally said he was like, he's not amazing at anything. He's a good running back.
Yeah.
But there's something about having that guy you can count on. Without that, with having question mark with Naheem Hines or with Taylor back there, you don't know 100%. So those short yard situations turns into Phillip Rivers making some passes, which could be intercepted, which is Phillip Rivers' issue. Yeah. So that's the reason. It's just decision making when it comes to crunch time. If it gets there, which we believe it'll be a close game, I'm taking the Vikings.
And I feel like on the Viking side too, because I am a Vikings fan. I'll throw that out.
Yeah, tell me more about why should I like the Vikings? Because literally, I'm picking against the Colts in this game. I'm not even picking the Vikings.
Two reasons. I think the defense looks better because they're not going up against Aaron Rodgers. I think last week, yes, were there a lot of improvements that we need to see from our defense? Yes, but it doesn't help when you're going up against the MVP this year. I'm going to keep speaking that into existence because A-Rod is winning MVP this year. He will through spite, he will win that award. And then number 2, it comes down to Kirk Cousins. Like there were plays, numerous of them, but one big one that it was like people threw out there. They're like, okay, who are you throwing to? You're throwing to Adam Thielen, who beat Jair Alexander on the outside. Are you going to Jefferson, who beat his man in the corner? No, fuck it. I'm going to go to Tajay Sharp, who's obviously covered. Like,
well,
it's like they freeze framed it. Like, he beat him, and then, nope, I'm going to that guy who's covered.
But this is a team in the Colts who played prevent defense basically the whole fucking game.
So they'll have the middle of the field
Mania, 19 of 20, basically saying an NFL record. So
grab Jefferson from Minnesota playing in the slot.
Is Jefferson the number 2?
I mean, he was.
It feels like he's the number 3.
He was playing in the slot though. That's what I'm saying. Over the middle, he's going to be over the middle.
I see what you're saying. As long as that's a thing that. Mr. If I die throws to. Some guys don't lean on the slot receivers; they lean elsewhere. But if he's going to go to the slot, this is a matchup where it is slot favored. I 100% agree with you.
The next game, Dave, an interdivisional game in the AFC East. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. No one circles those wagons like the Buffalo Bills. They got a win last week. They're 1-0. Going up against the Dolphins, who did not start their season out too great last week. Yeah. This line, I think, is a little low. Bills favored by 5.5. Who you got here?
It's going to be a spanking. I said in fantasy, do not start a Dolphin. Like any of them. None of them deserve a start today. Or Sunday, I should say, depending on whenever you're watching this. Don't start Dolphin.
Yeah.
It's a classic trap game, but it feels like this is gotta be a Bills game through and through. Josh Allen has owned the Dolphins in his career. He is a big proponent on murking the Dolphins. I love what they've done with their offense. The addition of Stephon Diggs has paid off dividends for everybody else out there. They're getting better looks. The offense is flowing. The run game is going. I love what this team is doing. Give me them Buffalo Bills.
I'm the same way. I think this is going to be like let's see, how many points they put up last week? You know what? I'll say like 32-14 game. Like, that's what we're going to be looking at here. Bills are going to score. They're going to get, I think Singletary looks a little bit better this week than he looked last week. The Dolphins are just a big question mark. Like, the wide receivers seem banged up. I know Parker is banged up. Fitzy didn't look as great as we thought he would, especially against a Patriots
team. He's getting those early season interceptions out of the way. He'll be Fitzmagic later.
Yeah. Well, he's getting them out of the way so then Tua can come in and look good.
Well, that's the thing. I was cracking up on the McAfee show today. Pat McAfee show. They were talking about the ticket sales down there in Miami. There are, I think, 14,000 available seating in stadium.
Oh, that's right, because this is going to have a lot more fans than we're used to seeing.
They still haven't sold out. They went to all their season ticket holders and couldn't sell out 14,000 tickets to the game.
That, you know what that means, Dave? You bad. Dolphins bad.
Yeah, he was like, so let me see. If I'm a Dolphins fan down there in Miami, I'm like, what do I want to do today? I could go to that football game. Who they play? Bills. Go to the beach. Go to the club. I go to shopping.
Could go see the Marlins play. I'd rather see the Marlins than the Dolphins right now.
Nope, not doing that. Not doing that. Not going to get COVID at the watching the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. Not doing that.
Yeah, actually, you can't go see the Marlins play. That's a joke because of COVID. Next game, Dave. Kittle's out. 49ers, Jets. Is it still a 49er win? 49ers are favored by a touchdown by Vegas.
Fire Adam Gase.
No Kittle, no problem. That's the headline here. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo, that Jimmy Garoppolo kid is going to go pretty well, and I'll give you a little spoiler. This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler, Dave. Moster gets more fantasy points with Kittle being out.
The man's got my name in his name. Yeah. I love him.
He's got your name in his name. He's going to be fucking phenomenal out there. Fucking 49ers blow him out. He is quick.
He set the new record. Quick.
Yeah, for what? Just fastest running?
Touchdown reception. Like, he was running 23 miles an hour or something crazy? It's insane.
Dave, the next game?
Yeah.
Because that one didn't take long. Not big analysis.
I don't have anything to say. Like, the Jets suck. That's all I have is you need to fire a head coach.
When will Gase get fired?
look good, and he's the guy who you have the highest hopes for. The wide receiver, Jamison Crowder, I think is questionable.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing. I think he's out, actually.
I think he's out. So I don't know what the fuck. Like, what are we doing here, people? What are we doing?
Yeah, Crowder is out.
Crowder's out.
Playing. Yep, he's out.
He's officially out then. So if I'm the Jets, well, I think you heard. Oh God, what was it? Greeny this morning came up with. I mean, he just said a dumb number.
Jet fan Mike Greeny.
Jet fan Mike Greeny. I think he said like $1 billion to 4 or something like just a dumb number. Like, this is not going to be a competitive football game. Don't even waste your time watching it because somehow the Jets will get money from you watching it. Just keep the petition going to fire Adam Gase from football, not just the Jets, from football.
Hey, maybe the Jets get the number 1 pick, and then God, I would hate that for Sam Darnold because I don't think Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback because they're gonna go Trevor Lawrence if they go get number 1.
That means the Bears could get Sam Darnold for a steal.
Ooh, they could trade for him. That's what you're thinking. Allen Robinson for Sam Darnold.
Oh, no way would I go Allen Robinson for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's worth like a 4th right now.
So this is off topic with everything, but it's still Bears based.
Maybe a 3rd.
I saw this question on Twitter, Dave, and I want to know what your thought being a Bears fan. Probably should have thought of this for the Bears game, but this will be an interjection here.
We haven't even talked Bears, have we?
Yeah, we did Bears Giants to start it.
Oh, wow, we did. My memory is gone.
So, being the Bears fan, which would you rather have, Dave? Allen Robinson, but have $20 million less cap.
Okay.
Or would you rather have Jamar Chase, the number 1 overall wide receiver in the draft, and have $20 million of spending room?
I've not seen Jamar Chase play football, I'll be honest. I don't know where he plays.
He's sitting out this year. LSU. He's
the
LSU guy.
So he's an LSU wide receiver.
He's the LSU guy that opted out this year.
Is he a big guy? What's his height?
I'll give you his measurements. I should have looked up his measurements for him.
Like, that's the thing. We got Anthony Miller, who's a great 2. I don't think Anthony Miller would succeed as a 1 necessarily. I may be wrong, but I don't think he is. We got speed. You saw Mooney out there.
Chase is 6'1", 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's not big enough. I'll be honest. He's good. I'm assuming he's good. He's the number 1 wide receiver on the board. But that's not big enough to be Allen Robinson replacement. I agree. $20 million is a lot of money. I will take the rookie.
Yeah, the tall boys so far are Tamarian Terry from Florida State. He's 47th overall on the big board. He's at 6'4".
Okay.
You also have 6'3", 66th overall, Seth Williams out of Auburn. And then Auburn. Also 6'4", double 6'4s. Justin Ross out of Clemson and Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU. Also Nico Collins out of the tallest, TJ Vasher, 6'6" out of Texas Tech.
Basically just a tight end.
He's listed as a wide receiver though. He's 6'6", 6'6", 215. He's not even the heaviest wide receiver.
I'd say 215 is not too heavy. Actually, he might have some hope.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting one. But yeah,
because I saw it today by a Bears Twitter account, and I was like, I would take the rookie in the cap room.
We talked about it. Yeah, the cap room is important, but being able to replace a big body wide receiver who is literally a top 7 wide receiver in the NFL, maybe top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, that's tough, especially without knowing a quarterback. I would go right now. If you gun to my head, I would take the rookie.
Yeah. Next game though, Dave, Rams Eagles. Most interesting line so far.
Yeah.
Eagles are a 1-point favorite. This is almost a dead even game. I don't know how that is because I'm going with the Rams in this one. Like the Rams look good. Was it the Rams looked good or the Cowboys looked bad? I still don't know how I feel about that Sunday night game, but like there's a part of me that's like, I think the Rams are going to be better than what they were last year.
Popularity is on the Eagles side, but the money is on the Rams side, if I heard this correctly.
Okay.
Which means that the sharps are betting up the Rams. Okay. So if you can get in while it's still Eagles favorited, take that, run with it. I'm with you. This is a Rams game all the way.
Yep.
Did you see what Aaron Donald did last week?
Yes.
Do you know what Carson Wentz?
He went through like 5 people. Like they couldn't even get the whole line to block him.
On the ground for approximately half of that game.
Yes.
And you think Aaron Donald's not going to cause some issues for this man?
Carson Wentz is getting destroyed.
I don't know if we're watching the same game of football here, but I do believe this is going to be a problem for the Eagles. Yeah, I got to go. I absolutely have to go with the Rams in this case.
Yeah.
I don't see how
Also,
this
Alshon's out. Alshon's out. So it's basically
Alshon's out. Zach Ertz still doesn't have a contract. There's still lots of complaints out there. It's got to be the Rams.
going Mel Kiper. Gotta be the Rams. Rams are winning the game. Go Rams big.
I love
the cadence. It's just the cadence of it.
It is.
But yeah, Rams win this one.
I'll go Jim Rome though. What's the point of mixing the Rome?
I'm gonna go like maybe fucking 35-17.
Okay.
I'll give them 17. I'll be
what?
nice. But there's a part of me that wanted to go like fucking 35-10. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a close game
Not a 35-16
at all. Denver-Pittsburgh, Dave. Does Denver keep it going and go, does Pittsburgh keep it going and go 2-0? They are the 7.5-point favorites in this one at Heinz Field.
It's a tough one. I think that the money line is just about right on. I think it's about a touchdown game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pittsburgh's going to win, but I think it's going to be a close game. I did like Drew Lock week one. I knew he wasn't amazing. Noah Fant, my boy in fantasy, got me some points, though. Love that. Cortland Sutton expected back. Perhaps. I think he's still questionable, actually. If I heard right today, he was in practice, but no catches above the shoulders.
He is not listed on the Denver injuries,
which is a little questionable. If he's not going up for these guys, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. The two big injuries that I'm seeing for the Broncos is Cortland Sutton is questionable, but I was reading things that he might be able to go. Philip Lindsay is out.
Oh, well, that does suck.
So Philip Lindsay is out.
A STL fan was talking about Philip. He has Philip Lindsay on his roster this week. So if I was STL fan, if you're still here, starting Barkley and J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's Lindsay's officially out as it's listed from today. With me, I feel like the Broncos struggled last week against Tennessee. This Pittsburgh defense is like better.
Oh, they're insane.
If you had trouble against Tennessee, Pittsburgh's going to be a little bit harder. I think Big Ben throws for 3 touchdowns in this one. I think Big Ben lights it up.
I agree.
I don't care who starts at running back. They're both going to get theirs, and Snell and Connor, because I think what Snell proved is, hey, maybe we don't have to lean on Connor as much. And we can kind of do a running back by committee. I don't know. Maybe Mike
Connor's not getting a contract. That's all I'm hearing.
Le'Veon Bell 2.0. Is that what I'm hearing?
He's worse. He was worse than Le'Veon.
No, but I'm saying like the whole contract situation of like, we ain't gonna pay you. We got this guy.
I don't think he doesn't have the same ego as Le'Veon, which is good for him. So he might take a lesser contract deal. But anyway, I agree. I think I'm with you. I've been a huge Steelers guy all off season. I was talking them up. A lot of people were non-believers. I think that the Steelers are a safe bet this week, but it will be close. I think close games.
Next game, Dave. Do the Bucs get their first win against the Panthers?
Duh. I mean, the Panthers look good. The Panthers look good against the Raiders, but they are the Raiders. They are who we thought they were. They are a clusterfuck of talents. Like they've got the opportunity to win any game because they're the wild card.
Yeah.
I like the Panthers. I saw good things out of our QB, Teddy Two Gloves out there. Christian McCaffrey needs to touch the ball about 18 more fucking times a game than what he got. So until that play calling changes into the Christian McCaffrey offense, I refuse to vote for them to win a game. I think the Tampa Bay, week by week, will continue to get better and better and become a juggernaut in the NFL. I'm not on that whole, like, Tom Brady is falling over the cliff into the valley.
The ravine, Dave. The Max Kellerman ravine.
I'm not Max Kellerman. He is just learning the offense, building that continuity with his players.
Yeah.
I understand that Godwin's going to be out. That'll be fine. He's only got about 17 other Pro Bowlers out there with him on offense. He's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I am. So the line here is 8.5.
Ooh. That's a big line.
8.5 for the Bucs. Bucs are favored. I'm going with the Panthers. 37-34 Panthers win.
I respect that. Wait, you're taking the points and a win?
Yep, and a win. The reason.
A good call because it's I don't know what they're going to do, honestly.
Yeah, I'm taking points and a win.
Is just dumb to me. I can't see the Panthers winning this game.
Are
you Tom Brady? Is he dead?
No,
is Tom Brady died? Is that what you're reporting to me right now? Is Tom Brady died?
It's not Tom Brady's dead. It's basically everything else around Tom Brady to where I don't think this Bucs team is going to be fully unlocked until we get healthy Evans, healthy Godwin. Like, Godwin will play, but it will basically be like Evans last week, where he's going to be a decoy. I'm assuming, like, I'm guessing
concussions are nothing to fuck with.
He could not. He could not play
on concussions. Yeah, nothing to fuck with.
If he doesn't play, that's even worse. And I feel like this Panthers team, they feel like they got one stolen away. They should have won last week.
Definitely agree. I agree.
And also, this team, like, Teddy Bridgewater's talented. Robbie Anderson showed that he can be a reliable target for Teddy Two Gloves. Run CMC in the backfield, to where I feel like this is a game that is not lost by the Bucs. It is won by the Panthers, where the Panther offense shows up and basically goes, I don't care if we gave up 34 points. We're just going to score a little bit more than you.
Not so fast. This is Tampa Bay's game to take. There's no way Tom Brady loses 2 games in a row. You know, last time Tom Brady lost 2 games in a row? Never.
He's lost 2 games in a row, I bet.
Never.
The Joe Burrows thing, never lost 2 games in a row.
Never happened to Tom Brady. He's never lost 2 games in a row.
Dave, Washington, Arizona. The Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites in Arizona for this one. Are the Washington football team, are they going to go 2-0?
TWFT? Are we talking about TWFT?
What's the
Washington football team?
Okay, yeah, we're talking about TWFT.
Yeah, they're like not Ohio State University. It's TWFT.
See, I wish they would have went fucking football club. I agree. The DC football club. The fucking McAfee said that, and that's DCFC. What I would have went with.
I absolutely agree. DCFC is amazing. DC but TWFT is what we'll take in the meantime.
Yeah.
Until they decide that it's smarter to go with DCFC. But TWFT is not a bad game this week. I'll be honest though, their defense is so good, but at the same time, that Cardinals offense just is on another level. Kyler Murray, I cannot vote against Kyler Murray. I think that what he is doing out there is something special. It's going to be close. It will be a close game. Give me the Cardinals. What's the point spread?
6.5 Cards. I'm taking the points. Cardinals win, but it ain't by 6.5.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I feel like it's going to be a, like, 27-24, 28-24. Cardinals get the win, but it ain't by 6.5 or more.
Kyler still makes mistakes. I don't love the run game without having a genuine bona fide running back, and I own Kenyon Drake in one of our leagues, but I don't have that confidence. So I think this young budding Arizona Cardinals team, while good, is going to get a win here, but they'll make enough mistakes, and I like TWFT to cover that point spread.
I feel like the big thing that is in this is the Cardinals offense is good. They showed that they're going to be good this year. That defense showed, though, like, although they held the Niners to 20, they're not the most dominant defense. Like, they're good, but I feel like Dwayne Haskins, if he plays well, can find those holes. And Washington's defense also played really well against I know they were the injured Eagles, but, like, Carson Wentz needs respect for being a good quarterback that they went up against, and the way they were able to play against the Eagles. This is going to be a good game. I expect it to be a good game. Then the next one, Dave, I think this is the other blowout that we're going to have. Chiefs going into LA to play the Chargers. Chiefs are only an 8.5-point favorite. Patty Mahomes, 5 touchdowns like A-Raj.
I mean, it's going to be dirty. I don't know if he gets 5. I think they leave a couple on the board
that's a little disrespect to the Chargers, though. They're not the Lions. They're not that bad.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna let their new favorite rookie running back get some scores. I do think Patty Mahomes is gonna have a disgusting day. I think Sammy Watkins gets a score. I think Tony, Jesus. I think Kelsey gets a score. That's somebody who we grew up with, so it's Tony Kelsey. It's a childhood memory. I couldn't separate the name.
Thought you were going to go different chart. I thought you were bringing up Antonio Gates, Dave. Tony Gates.
No. I think Watkins can score. I think House could score. I think that, you know what? Maybe this week is not the week for a certain speedster and Tyreek Hill. Maybe the other kid. Maybe, what's his name? It's something with an M. Why can't I remember their 4th wide receiver?
Because it's their fourth wide receiver.
He's a speedster. He's their new kick returner too.
Here, I'll look it up for you.
I think it's Meekum or something close to that.
I'm trying to look it up for you, Dave.
McCole Hardman, right?
Okay. Maybe. I'm going to look it up. I got the points.
Confirm it's McCole Hardman, but I think
the points from last week.
Tyreek Hill for some reason.
So receiving last week, Hardman, Williams, Robinson, Hill, Kelsey, Watkins, and then Edwards.
I think Hardman gets a breakaway touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Hilaire gets a couple scores. I think that 3 receiving touchdowns as far as those wide receivers and tight end. I think Eckler will get a score because I like Eckler, but the rest of that offense just sucks. I'll be honest with you. Mike Williams, if he gets hit as hard as he did last week, he will not complete a full season. I'm concerned about that. He took shots.
You only won by 3 against the Bengals. The Bengals have proved that besides Joe Burrow,
and they literally didn't deserve the win because the Bengals kicker had the worst cramp in the history of cramp.
Yeah, the worst fake cramp, Dave. Forgot which leg cramped.
Sarcasm. I think it came down to a foot cramp. They landed on
okay. It didn't remember which leg it was, but shouldn't have won that game. This defense for the Chiefs is a lot better. Plus, this offense is a lot better.
The offensive line is a question mark.
This is going to be like 34-10 in my mind, or 35-10, to where it's like it's not close. It ain't close at all.
It's going to get dirty. The only thing I do have to say is they did get good pressure on that porous offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I will be curious to see what they can do against the Chiefs. This will be the first true test for that Chiefs offensive line to see what they can do. I know they've got one guy in their offensive line was a doctor who decided to opt out to help with the COVID cause. I think somebody else might have been injured or something. So this is definitely not the best form of this line, but it's a true test for them. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
The next game, Dave, I think it's going to be another blowout. Ravens are a 7-point favorite against the Texans. Here's why I think it's a blowout is because this defense is damn good.
Because have you seen the Ravens?
Yeah, the Ravens are a damn good team overall. The Texans, although Deshaun Watson is good at football, he's lacking something without having the best wide receiver in football out there in DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't think that matters even the slightest.
This is going to be ugly. This is going to be like, I said 35-10 for the last game. This is going to be like 48-10 or 48-17 at the most, where it's like
I got like 48-28.
I think Lamar goes off and the Texans don't score enough.
I think they get some scores in. I think that later on I love this Baltimore defense, but I feel like they're going to put out some third string quality players out there towards the end of this game. You don't need to run up the score too badly at that point. You're just like, hey, let's get some playing time for these secondary guys. We're all in good game shape by week 2. Week 1 was really about sending a message, and what a message they send. So I think point proven. I think this Texans team is good enough to get a couple scores in though. But yeah, I am taking the Ravens. I'm taking the points. It ain't even gonna be close. Like it's the over.
Sunday Night Football, Dave. The Patriots Seahawks in Seattle. The Seahawks are a 3.5-point favorite. Is this basically going to come down to, hey, Cam, you looked good last week, but the Seahawks are nothing like the Dolphins?
So you know what Jamal Adams did last week? Can he do it again? Can he be that guy who gets up in the box and stuffs the run? Because if he is, then that hurts Cam Newton a lot.
Yeah.
I really like what the Seahawks did. Russell Wilson, my MVP for the year, is going out there. Still no Josh Gordon, unfortunately. But he will have enough weapons out there to roast this Patriots team. I know the Patriots. They're the fucking Patriots. They always look good. Regardless of when they look bad, they still look good. So I'm a little, I respect that short spread of 3.5 points. That makes sense because it is still Bill Belichick. He is still an evil genius mastermind.
Yeah.
But I'm all in on this Seahawks team this year. This is a win for them. They're going to win it. That point line, I can't say one way or the other.
I'm going to take the Seahawks on a win here, like 35-28, to where it's like both teams are going to get their points, but like the Seahawks are going to score.
Air it out after seeing Matt Ryan, or do they just not have wide receivers on this team? That's the difference.
I think what it's going to do is I feel like the Seahawks are going to jump out to an early lead. Patriots are going to have to abandon the run game, and like Cam's going to do enough with what he's got out there to score some points. Like 28 points is going to seem like Like
that's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points, but it's gonna like the efforts.
That's more than scored in week 1, right?
Yeah, it's one. It's about one more touchdown than they had in week 1.
Yeah,
it's going to seem like how the effort some teams have when they score like 56, and it's like holy shit, they scored a lot of points. It's gonna feel like that kind of effort, but they only got 28 points.
Okay,
like that's how it's gonna feel. But the Seahawks win. They've got a better defense. 28 is gonna come in garbage time when the Seahawks are up a lot. Like the score will not indicate how not close this game is going to be. Seahawks win. And then Dave, the Monday night game, Saints 1-0 going up against the LV Raiders in Las Vegas. First game we get in Las Vegas with no fans. They're also 1-0 as well. Saints are a 6-point favorite. Who you got Monday night?
No Michael Thomas means a question mark, but I'm an Alvin Kamara holder. Alvin Kamara is going to get about $150 in all-purpose yards. Have himself a day, a couple scores probably. Again, the Raiders are such wild cards. Henry Ruggs, even though he was hurt, still looked good last week. I can't pick the Raiders seriously. I can't. It's the Saints. The Raiders are such, like I said, they're wild card bitches. Like they're literally that character from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie jumps out the back of the van and it's just like, we didn't need this.
Yeah.
It's not happening. That's who the Raiders are in the NFL. They could beat any team, but they're not going to win this week.
And that's why I feel like I'm going to go with the Raiders. And would it be Raiders and the points? If I think I think it's going to be 35-31 is the score.
You'll take the points.
I'll take the points with it. Like a six spread right now. That's what I'll go for. I'll go with the over on that.
So good week 1. If they could shit stomp Tom Brady's offense, I know Tom Brady wasn't the cleanest out there, but
the Raiders' offense put up points last week. Like they've got weapons out there. Jacobs, Waller are the top two.
Big question mark. He was on a different level week 1. So I'll give you that, but like we'll see if he can get that off against the Saints team. I don't know.
And with with Michael Thomas being doubtful, if he doesn't play, how is that going to affect the Saints offense? And
are we going to see a certain third string quarterback play wide receiver more this game?
Taysom Hill.
Is he the secret weapon? Taysom Hill is going to lead the Saints in receiving yards this game? Is that what I'm hearing?
Instead of Michael's secret stuff, it's Taysom's secret stuff.
My God, is that Taysom Hill's song?
By God, he just hit him with a chair. JR, our king, he just hit him with a chair. But that's going to do it for our Football Friday. Usually football shows go long, especially when we got especially when we got NBA on top of it that we have to touch at the beginning. This is like almost an hour 40 show. Great times though to be had all around. Remember, Twitter MVP_vids is where every Friday morning I'm going to throw out a tweet. Fantasy questions, that's where you can put them, or come watch the show live. We answer the questions live as well, preview the games. Remember, we're always live Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, but we're also on YouTube, MVP Sports as well, where you can get stuff not MVP Sports Live. Discord, link down below in the description, or !Discord to get into that. If you're in Twitch, YouTube, it's right down in the description. And then if you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. Bronze, silver, gold, and platinum are the 3 tiers and rewards you can get for that. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. And then also you can throw us a sub. Prime Gaming gives you a Twitch Prime, or it used to be called Twitch Prime, sub. Why not throw it at us and get a bronze membership from Patreon from Amazon?
Have fun in that conversation.
Last night, Tim bailed out early, but Soapy, Sean, and I were up until at least 3 o'clock again, Central Time.
I was there until midnight with Tim. Me and Tim held out till 12:01.
Did Tim leave with you? I couldn't remember.
Yes,
Tim
we both left at 12:01.
All right. Tim left.
I was like, I looked down. I honestly, bedtime's like 10 o'clock. You guys?
No, I know. I was like, dude, Dave's a trooper for this.
It was 12:01. Tim's like, I gotta work tomorrow. I'm heading to bed. I was like, wait, what time? Oh no.
Dave's like, what did I just do?
I woke up at 8:59 for my 9 a.m. meeting. It was a point one today.
Nice. But yeah, it's always a great time in the Discord. That's pretty much it. Oh, my draft videos. They'll be on Patreon first.
Yeah, check it out.
They'll be early, golden above. Members get that. They'll be out 2 weeks from now, getting ready for the NBA draft. But it should be a good week of football. Dave and I will be back on Monday. Thank you guys for watching. As always, have a good day, everybody. Or should I say have a good night, everyone? Because it's fucking 8 o'clock here.
Depends the time they're watching it.
Have a good one, guys.